Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, whoa. Bits. If you've ever had to put together cheap furniture, you know that feeling in the pit of your stomach when you're done and you have leftover parts. Oh, sweet. Bonus bits. Also, this is the only tool you'll ever need in your life, apparently. It can assemble anything. But when it comes to our Warhammer kits, the leftover bits still on the sprue after assembling our models, those, my friends, are plastic gold. Those are we can envision our own custom armies with our little dudes that are slightly different than our opponents' little dudes.
Okay, so if I put on this spear instead of this sword, he would look entirely different.
But I've come to realize that my collection of bits, while never too big, has gotten big enough that I need to quell the herd a little bit. So today, I'm going to make a new model entirely made with leftover bits. So no more jaw jacking, let's head over to the desk and see what incredible monstrosity we can come up with. All right, the first thing we need to do is get some bits. Now, I keep my bits organized in these big things right here. I just got these from a craft store. They are for scrapbooking, I think, or something like that. It's a one big compartment with a lot of smaller compartments inside. And I have one of these for all my Warhammer Age of Sigmar and Fantasy bits, and one for my 40K bits, so I can keep them somewhat organized. Okay, yeah, this is already quite a few bits, but I've got some more here to show you. First of all, everybody should have one of these, a box of skulls. I don't know if we're going to use skulls for this build or not, but they're always just handy to have. So, and they're relatively cheap, so pick one of these up. Next, I've got a couple of bags here. They're just too big to sit in these small containers, so we're going to look through these as well. This is a bag filled with Adeptus Mechanicus bits that I kept after doing the commission, and the video you'll see up in the corner right now. Now, it's important, if you do commissions, to make sure you get to keep all the leftover bits. And this giant bag is filled with stuff of giants. The Mega Gargant kits and the Baby Gargant kits. A local guy actually built this whole army and he wanted to sell off the remainder of the bits, which there is a ton for these models. And so I picked those up at a steal of a price. Now the first thing I'm going to do is try to find some inspiration. I need to find some bit or collection of bits that really strike me as being really interesting or give me some kind of creative direction to move forward with. So in starting with this kit from all the Mega Gargants, there's a lot of stuff that is very nautical themed. There's these big kind of fishing nets. There's some wreckage of a hull of a ship. There are these weird jawbones of some kind of a shark or something. So I have a big collection here that I've grabbed from the Mega Gargant kits that I think will be a good direction to start with. And we're going to keep working through the other stuff as well. For the Adeptus Mechanicus, as you can see here, it is all teeny tiny guns and arms and stuff like that. I'm kind of looking at this as like working with a ball of clay that I'm trying to sculpt down to get to my final piece. And the little things I just feel like right now I shouldn't be worrying about. And nothing big in this collection really jumps out at me. Well, here's a book. You know, if you want to do some reading. Maybe it's a librarian creature. In the grimdark future, there are still toolboxes. Fire extinguisher because, you know, in case of fire. I had completely forgot that I owned this. I have some Tyranid bits from a buddy and kind of pillaged the rest of his unused kits, and including this giant, disgusting open head thing with a big tongue thing sticking out of it. Now it's still all in multiple pieces here, but man, if this isn't an inspiration of a direction to go, I don't know what is. All right, I've got all my bits out in little piles based on where they came from, and I'm starting to pull together the story for the inspiration of this piece. I think I have to use this crazy Tyrannid, like disgusting head thing in some way or another. And a lot of my other large bits that are going to be able to fill out whatever this ends up being come from those Gargant kits. So all the shipwreck stuff and some random detritus and old beat up stuff that will fill out the beast. So what can this be? What if this crazy, disgusting bug is actually some kind of Lovecraftian horror thing that has come for revenge after all the people died in the water? Look, the story doesn't have to make perfect sense. We're going to build this, and then we're going to start seeing how we can put it together from there. All right, and with this, our main kind of focal point of the piece is built, and also it takes care of the issue of figuring out what the head is going to be, because I just wasn't certain both in terms of scale or what is appropriate for this. So this head is going to be massive. However, I don't think that the whole piece is going to be massive. It's going to be coming up from below or something like that. So let's start to work around with other things, other bits, to see what can give us a neat overall shape of the piece. So I've built up some more of the pieces here, and I like the idea of this ship hull kind of hanging above it, almost like a lantern fish up across its back or even up over its head. And I think I'm going to try to build in some more of these pieces here, connect this. And for this kind of dealing with this hole right here, I think I'm going to use these kind of spiky bits to cover that up, almost like a cowl, or like where it's coming out of. These pieces will kind of cover that. So let's get to gluing some more stuff together and just seeing where it goes. All right, I think we're starting to get somewhere here in building out the bulk of this thing. I got two of these bags filled with whatever from the depths and deep. You see there's a clam in there. There's like a fish fin sticking out, as well as some drowned seagoers. And it's actually two of the exact same bit. And I've kind of flipped them so you don't get to see the same side from the outside. We'll hopefully be covering a bunch of this over the top, but it gives us a little bulk on the sides as we're going to be able to build the main portion of our big beast here, kind of coming up in this area. And we're going to have to build up some more kind of layers. And I envision doing things like putting the layers of all these netting bits on top, like it's almost like collected all the refuse of the sea as it's been slowly going down the sea floor and collecting the souls and junk that it comes across. You'll see I haven't actually busted out any milliput or green stuff yet. I don't know if I will. I kind of like to just build off of bits on bits and then fill in those gaps later. I think I like the idea actually of messing around with things to have this big ship piece coming out the other direction. I don't know if it's going to end up looking better in the long term, but I do have another bit that is the ship piece that I can kind of chop up and have more ship wreckage on here. But especially from like this angle, I kind of liked the look, and in keeping us a little bit more away from being symmetrical as well in the piece, gives me a bit of a feel of the chaos and the kind of utter madness that this thing is creating in its wake. To add to the look that this thing is like pulling itself through the ocean floor, I added this piece of rubble on a chain that one of the giants uses as a weapon, and I found that the big giants have this thing that looks like a bit of a column that they've put some iron spikes on. Oh shit. That's the second time I've dropped my accelerator in this process. Today's video is brought to us by the #1 place that us creative types go to get our learn on, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and go down the rabbit hole of artistic enlightenment. There's tons of applicable classes for our mini hobby. Artsy related things regarding color, light, and even artist productivity. One I'm excited to start is called Productivity for Creatives, building a system that brings out your best with Thomas Frank. Lord knows I struggle to make the most out of my hobby time. Skillshare is great because it's curated specifically for learning, meaning there's no ads. They're always launching new high-quality classes by people that know their stuff, and the classes are broken up into bite-sized chunks so you can learn whenever you have some free time, over lunch, on the toilet, on a hot air balloon ride, wherever. If you want to figure out if it's something that you would like or not, why don't you click on the link in the video description below and get a 1-month free trial. That way you can take her for a spin. But it's only open to the first 1,000 subscribers that click that link, so get on down there and enjoy your free trial. A big thank you to Skillshare for supporting the channel. Now let's get these minis put away and get back to the video. I realized I probably should have figured out what kind of base I was going to use and find one to help earlier than now, but better late than never. So I grabbed a 130 millimeter pie plate. It's good for a zombie dragon if you've got one of those, or for your sea creature here. Now, it looks just about the right size. It's fitting well, but most importantly, it kind of lets me see where I need to build things out. Like on this back end here, I'm gonna have to kind of create this slope down into the base, and I've got some underfilling down here to do as well. So I've got a better direction now where I need to move forward from here. Sometimes when you gotta get just a certain part of a bit off, but you don't want everything, you gotta bust out your good old hobby saw. Doesn't always work super smoothly. Aha! The knuckles have been safely removed from this tiny bit of rope that I don't know what I'm gonna do with. But I thought it looked cool. Oh, and the stuff that I'm using to make this kit bash, I've got linked in the video description if you want to get any of the hobby tools like saws or the other good stuff. You can check it out there, and it supports the channel. I get a small kickback at no additional cost to you. Okay, I think we're about getting to a point where we're going to do some of the really fun stuff. I built out this for the most part, and add a bunch of little bits that I really haven't been able to yet because I need to get the whole structure built and make it look like he's in fact kind of coming out of the ocean floor as a mass. This whole thing is not what I had expected to make. I expected to make just like a guy, like a little guy with a bunch of different bits, but I made a Cthulhu sea monster. At a certain point, this model is going to be more super glue than model. But I haven't had to bust out the green stuff yet. And quite frankly, it's kind of looking cool. And if I don't have to use the putty, I'm gonna try to not use the putty. Found this sweet Liberty Bell. I don't know what the purpose of this is, but we're gonna ring-a-ding-ding the Bell of Sigmar under the ocean on this model. I am just now coming to the realization and looking at how this piece is turning out of how much it's gonna suck to paint it. Maybe a future video if you'd want to see that. I guess I'll just leave that up to future John to deal with and just keep on adding more crap. I did find in my Tyrannid Bits box a couple of these tails or tongues, or I don't know which orifice they come out of really, but they have this distinct connection to the feel of our big demon head itself. So I think I'm going to have those kind of like sneakily coming out of around the side or some section of the from the underside, so it feels like there's other things down in there as part of this beast. So let's find a sneaky way to stick these in here. All right, I was just digging through the bits for any more little things for inspiration, and I found two awesome winners. The first one is an actual ship's wheel, steering wheel. It's probably got a different name. I can't think of it right now, but we definitely have to use that. And equally as exciting, since we're under the ocean, I found these tentacles, squid tentacles. How cool is that? So those are going to have to be coming out of somewhere as well. He's got some tyrannid thingies and some squid thingies. That's a new kind of hybrid. I don't know the lore. This thing weighs a good 8 kilos right now. I don't know the conversion of how many pounds to kilos, but that feels like it's probably accurate. Well, I've officially spilled my accelerator 4 times in this project thus far, and I only have a little bit left, so I have to be careful going forward here. But we've got a lot on here, and I feel like I keep adding and keep adding. I'm going to check for any final cracks that I'm missing, so you'd look right through and see nothingness, because he is mostly hollow on the inside, although that is a pretty cool vision of the underneath of this model, all held together with plastic cement and super glue. You know, I still can't tell if this thing is awesome or just nightmare fuel for a sweaty fever dream. But it was a ton of fun to try to figure this out, thinking it almost like a puzzle as I was working. And it kind of made me think about each of my bits and looking at them in a different light for future creative endeavors. So do you guys like kit bashing? Is it a part of your hobby that you regularly engage in, or is it something you haven't really tried yet? And as I was making this thing, did you see things that you would have done differently? Or maybe you were like, I would have gone a completely different direction. I'm curious on your thoughts. And while you're putting your thoughts down in the comments section, also help me out. We need to name this thing. This is now something we do, is we make a weird thing, and I need your help to name it. So put your name down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, you're going to like and subscribe. If you haven't, please do that. Because like half of you aren't subscribed, and it makes our junk beast sad. I assume that's the sound he makes. Thanks for hanging out today. I had a lot of fun making this model, and I love making these videos. And if you want to support me to make more of them, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can join the Ninjan Dojo by being a part of the Patreon. There's a link down below, and you can check out all the fun rewards that you get by joining, like access to my weekly vlog and access to my private Discord server. You can also pick up some Ninjan merch and help me out that way as well. Or if you're out buying your hobby goodies, you can use my affiliate links down below, many of which actually get you a discount as well, and you support the channel. Now, one could make the argument that we in fact did not slay any gray today. However, I will retort by saying we took a lot of little parts of gray and turned them into one bigger gray that maybe we'll slay later. I don't know, maybe you don't want to see this model painted on the channel, but if you do, let me know that. And until next time, make sure you turn your little gray into big gray, and maybe head over to your painting desk and slay some as well.